Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
My next guest, Fergal Nealon, has created storytelling solutions for Fergal County Council and Cork City Council through his business Story Tracks. Fergal has big plans for his business, and he joins me now to tell us about his own entrepreneurial story. Fergal, we'll be discussing your business Story Tracks, but first, I'd like to talk to you about your time as a professional poker player. How did you enter this world?
Well, I previously worked in the film industry, film and television, and it was over 10 years ago now, in my late 20s. My parents were unwell, so I moved back home and I became a full-time carer. And I think once they were all tucked up in bed in the evening time, at the time I was a single man, I had tons of time on my hands, and I just discovered the game of cards. And after a while I started watching videos and reading books on it, and I really enjoyed the strategy and the challenge side of the game. Now, I was in Sligo, in my hometown, and once I discovered that you could win trips abroad to Las Vegas and destinations in Europe to play in bigger events, well, that was great. Once I had an excuse to get out of home for a while, I was all over it.
So what prompted you to swap the high life of Vegas for that of a start-up entrepreneur?
I still ask myself that question every day, Karl. It was baby, really. You know, I have a 3.5-year-old, Julianne. So basically, I can tell you, I made the changeover 3 years ago. So we gave it a go for maybe 6 months, and it just wasn't happening. It's not conducive with family life, the late nights, the travel. So I decided to retrain. I was in my late 30s at the time, and I said, look, I could hang on and play cards for another 5 years profitably. Now it's tax-free, so that was great, but again, there was no security. You start thinking of pensions and health and stuff like that when baby comes along. So that was the prompt. I went back and did a year course in DCU, which was Software Systems and Entrepreneurship. And it was through that course I came up with a business plan, which became Story Tracks.
From your experience then, Fergal, are there any crossover skills between poker and entrepreneurship?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Having to manage your own cash flow, having to go through, as I mentioned before, barren stretches where revenue just isn't coming in. And I think that's a key crossover, because to know in cards, the main thing and what would keep you sane in the game of cards was knowing that, look, you're making the right decision. You're consulting, you're reviewing your plays and your strategies with your peers, and you know that when luck turns, you're going to be in a position to take advantage of it. And it's very similar in entrepreneurship. Just to keep making strides every day, making connections, keep consulting with mentors and clients, customers, make sure you're heading in the right direction and getting yourself into position to take advantage of the breaks.
Now, the reason I've asked you to join me on this morning's show is to discuss your startup business, Story Tracks. How did you develop the idea for the business?
The idea actually from Story Tracks came from my father. My father was a well-known journalist come later politician in his career, Ted Nealon. He passed 5 years ago now, Karl, and when he passed, so many great stories, as you can imagine, passed with him. And that was really the genesis for Story Tracks, because this is happening every day in the country. We're losing great folklore and tales that our country is famous for. So we originally set out to be a storytelling archive, and then through various accelerators and entrepreneurship programs that we're lucky to have in this country, I had to pivot the model to realise how could this business become sustainable. And in that regard, we look towards the tourism and travel sector.
So what is the product that you're offering today through Story Tracks?
So Story Tracks is a global storytelling platform. So we provide is a highly immersive and engaging means of in-destination travel experiences. So, for example, we've spotted that in the activities and tour sector of travel, it's a massive sector now. And there's not much, 80% of the bookings that happen in that sector actually happen offline. So we've spotted a huge gap there. So what we provide with our mobile applications is in-destination tours, which we can rebrand and reskin to the major travel players and give them a highly immersive, engaging point of engagement to visitors on the ground.
Well, if you've just tuned in, I'm speaking to the founder of StoryTracks, Fergal Nealon. Fergal, how have you gained momentum with StoryTracks to date, and what Irish organisations have you been working with?
Yes, yeah, it's certainly been a struggle in terms of getting that momentum going as an early stage tech startup. You know, people are reluctant to make that first move. A recent one we did just down in Cork, it was called Cork Voices, where we got great traction from. And Enterprise Ireland were a client there, and we worked with Cork City Council and the PPN, where we went down and captured stories of the marginalised community groups. And it was the first ever of its kind participatory grant making in Ireland, where we went out and captured the stories, and then we allowed the public to vote on which campaign would access the most amount of grant money. It's a really interesting project, and for us that it provides the authenticity behind what we're doing as a travel product.
So, Fergal, I know that you are in active negotiations with a major global hotel chain, and as a result, you cannot identify this chain at present. But perhaps you might provide us with an insight into how they wish to use StoryTracks.
Yes, Karl, yeah, we're very excited about this deal. They've over 800 hotels worldwide, so it could be a really game changer for us in terms of internationalising the product. This is really exciting for us in terms of they're looking at it as a significant value add back to their visitor in destination. So it proves the model we're moving towards with StoryTracks. So, for example, when their visitor books online, they'll get sent a link through to download the application, which will be reskinned in the client's branding. So also when they're at the concierge or up in the room, they'll have leaflets with QR codes suggesting to download the application. So in destination, now the first hotel it's going to be a Dublin city centre based destination. So the visitor will be able to self-discover the destination, listen to the stories as they travel around the hotel's area. Now, say for example, they're walking for a couple of hours and they're listening to these great stories of the churches and the pubs and the flower sellers and the Guinness factory and that. Now, after a couple of hours, this hotel can basically send them a push notification saying, you've been walking a couple of hours, your feet might be tired, here's a spa deal, you can get yourself a nice foot massage back in the hotel. Or if they're walking another couple of hours, here's a meal deal, you must be hungry from all your walking today. So it's a way for the hotel brand to reconnect with the visitor as they're travelling in destination.
And in terms of developing future deals of this nature, what other type of organisations do you believe would greatly benefit from StoryTracks?
So we can see hotels, destination management companies, airlines that are looking to push destination. I think the main focus for us would be the major online travel agents. So your Airbnb, your bookings, Lonely Planet. So the big players in this who are looking to... What's happened in this sector is, and you know yourself when you go travelling, Karl, you get your flight and you're looking at your phone for your details, and you get your accommodation and you're looking at your Google Maps, and you get your accommodation and you can check in via your phone. But once that check-in happens, there's a lack of contact with the visitor back to the travel brand. You're just basically out there and you're looking at maps and you're going on these live tours. So we're looking at these major online travel brands that are looking to reconnect while the tourist is in destination. So your hotels, your airlines and your big online travel agents.
And as we look forward, what are your growth objectives for StoryTracks and how do you plan to realise these goals?
So we're certainly excited by the hotel deal as mentioned. So we're looking at pushing into their international franchisees as well with that. We're actually just back from a conference in the south of France there on sustainable tourism across Europe. There's a lot of interest in that sector. There's huge concerns about over-tourism. As you know, they're stretched there from Kerry to Galway is just overpopulated. And there's a lot of big push now to get travellers to move to destinations like Wexford, like Sligo, and I think there's a huge interest in that, and it's something which we can provide in our product because we allow this self-discovery of destinations. So we see a lot of interest there, and and also in the Americas as well. Obviously, it's a huge market.
And will you be seeking investment in order to bring Story Tracks to the next level?
Yes, Karl, I'm delighted you asked, because we're just doing an investment round at the moment, and we're looking at getting that matched by Enterprise Ireland as well. So it's early stage investment. I think we've spotted a clear gap in the market with customers as well. So we're looking for that investment. We found product market fit. So we're looking to really accelerate the growth and to expand the team and the services and the marketing behind that, so we can really exploit the head start we have on the market.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Fergal Nealon from Story Tracks, and I'm sure there are exciting chapters ahead for this business.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast.